Hi there, welcome to the League Weekly, your source for everything League of Legends. I'm your host, the Scaredy Cat, and today is our very first episode. I hope to bring you many more in the future. While I write the script and put together the video, a lot of the information was gathered from various sources such as Reddit, YouTube, Serenity20, The Daily Dot, and more. As the video plays, I will provide many annotations and links which lead to these sources. I notice, especially in the League of Legends community, a majority of uncomfortable situations arise because of misinformation and or a lack of information. Before accepting the first opinion that you read, I advise you to go and read, watch, and listen to these sources. And then I advise you to go find other resources on these same subjects as well. However, I do understand League of Legends material can be very dense and uninteresting to read sometimes, so I, as your host, will try my best to provide an unbiased summary of these articles. Beware, there are spoilers for the conclusion of LCS matches, so if you're still watching replays, don't proceed if you want the results spoiled, which, honestly, at this point, you should already know the results. Without further ado, let's begin. Following April Fools, Riot reintroduced the popular game mode Earth this week. With the conclusion of the NALCS Spring Split, players participated in the Riot-organized event, the Earthvitational, under the two teams Ye-Olde League Organization and Society of Worth Assessing Gentlemen. With live roster swaps, ham-induced glitches, great dance moves, and freaky conflicts, the whole event was an absolute riot. Watch the VOD of the event here. If you weren't aware of the NALCS standings, Team Solo Mid took first place with a secure 13 wins and 5 losses. In their final match of their round robin, TSM lost to Cloud9, which forced CLG and C9 to play a tiebreaker for second place. To the dismay of CLG fans, C9 pulled ahead, which means CLG had to play Team Liquid this weekend in the quarterfinals, while C9 and TSM get a bye into the semis. You can click the screen here to see the final standings of the NALCS round robin, and click here to see the schedule for the playoffs. Click here to watch the VOD of Team Liquid vs CLG. Now, a lot of League of Legends fans know that the League of Legends subreddit is a popular resource for news and information about the game. However, there are often times where information is misrepresented or further information is required in order to formulate a wholesome opinion on the situation. Moderators of the subreddit signed a non-disclosure agreement earlier this week, and immediately the community began sharpening their pitchforks in preparation for the coming conflict. A lot of people were suspicious of the NDA, seeing it as a way for Riot to propagandize the news that shows up on the subreddit. However, an official Riot statement claims that the NDA is in place so that they can protect player privacy and have meaningful conversations around security. Click here to read the Richard Lewis article on the NDA here, and click here to read popular subreddit user esports lawyer's take on the NDA, or you can click here to read the actual NDA. The heightened tension in the League of Legends subreddit probably resulted from another earlier transgression this week when subreddit mods removed a video calling out the organization What the Fast for their suspicious behavior on Steam. Apparently, they were buying good reviews on Steam with free subscriptions to their service, which in turn violates Valve's terms of service. I'll post my take on this event in the future, but I'll remain silent on the situation for now. If I do post a video on this situation, you can view my opinion by clicking on the screen here, and you can watch the original video that called out What the Fast here, or you can read a popular gamer's opinion on the What the Fast sponsor here. Following April 1st, a lot of articles that appeared that day were disregarded for their illegitimacy. An interesting article that popped up was a rumor that the high-ranking European solo queue player, Incarnation, planned to move to Cloud9. If you don't know who Incarnation is, he's a European solo queue cowboy who Riot had previously permabanned following claims of toxicity and DDoS behavior. However, Riot recently unbanned him from competitive play, and he will possibly participate in the next split. Contrary to this rumor, however, Lemonation's user on the subreddit claimed that Incarnation will not be replacing High. Whatever that means, who knows? Here's a link to that comment here. Team Fusion also let go of coach Beeson following a breach in competitive integrity when apparent leaks happened in practice scrims. There are a lot of taboos in competition, and there's a whole world that we, as viewers, are not aware of. You can read the article on Beeson's release here. Following Team Liquid's performance to split, I Will Dominate stated that something needs to change on the team if they do not perform well these playoffs. Whether that means making it to the finals or even winning the playoffs, Team Liquid has definitely shown that they can step up their game. You can read the article and watch the video here. Now, enough of the news. Let's move on to the cool things that showed up this week. A cool little website that showed up on the League of Legends subreddit this week is called LoL Profiler. It takes your statistics from your League games and determines what kind of player you are on the Rift. Categories range from warriors to tacticians to carries to adventurers. Click here to see what kind of summoner you are. Have you noticed some changes to the Rift recently? Since the release of Bard, more symbols and sounds have been popping up on Summoner's Rift than ever. Now, while I don't know exactly what this is foreshadowing, some speculate that the long-awaited release of Ao-Shin is finally here. Who knows, maybe Riot is just trolling us. Maybe there is no Storm Dragon. Speaking of Ao-Shin, click here for a cool fan-made video of what Ao-Shin's voice would be like if he was released. Now, as a frequent League of Legends player, I always strive to be better. I hate to admit it, but I've watched a lot of VODs, streams, replays, and guides. One VOD that I found really interesting was an analysis on the tiebreaker game between Counter Logic Gaming and Cloud9 by former CLG coach Monte Cristo. You can click here to watch it, or click here to see another match analysis by Monte Cristo between CLG and Team Liquid. If you don't check PBE often, you won't know that Riot frequently adds upcoming skins that will be introduced to the actual store. This week's skins include Debonair Galio, Guardian of the Sands Rammus, and Omega Squad Teemo. Click here to see more skins that were released on PBE this week, or click here to see the teaser that was released for Omega Squad Teemo earlier this week. This is the section of the video where I like to introduce an interesting pick that showed up in either competitive play or the solo queue meta this week. This week's champion is Urgot, the Headman's Pride. Near the end of the NALCS round robin, Team Gravity's mid laner Keen pulled out this wildcard as a super secret OP pick against Team Solo Mid's mid laner Beerson. Beerson is notorious for his Zed play, and it is often banned against him in competitive matches. Team Gravity led Zed through the ban phase against TSM, but Keen had a strong answer for Beerson, who opted for the Ninja. Keen did state that he was going to play Urgot regardless of what Beerson picked, but now that the Urgot has shown that he is a strong presence on the Rift, will more players be picking him up soon? On a side note, Keen has also stated that he is inspired by famous Korean player Faker on his picks. So if we really want to credit someone on the introduction of Urgot, I guess maybe we should thank Faker. Click here to watch some Faker highlights on Urgot, and here to watch the VOD where Keen picks Urgot against Beerson, or here to watch a YouTube analysis on Keen's Urgot. Patch 5.6 has been out for a while now, but I think it's important to have this part in the video anyways, since I'll be including the next patch notes whenever they're released in the next video. You can click here to read the patch notes on Riot's official page here. Now, usually I would also discuss the patch notes more in depth, but since 5.6 has been out for a while now, I think anyone who basically has played League of Legends should be aware of any changes on the Rift. An important thing to note though in 5.6 is that Irelia has finally been nerfed. Hooray! There is also confirmation by a Rioter that an Ashe change is soon in the works. No date for this change has really been confirmed, so don't expect it too soon, but keep in mind there are plans to change this champion of the old. And with that, we wrap up our first episode of League Weekly. I realize the amount of information in this video is probably not equivalent to the amount of things that actually happened over this past week, but as the episodes progress, I'll have more time to prep in each coming episode, and I think the quality of video will definitely improve as I have more time to practice. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this first episode, and I hope to bring you way more in the future. I'll see you guys next time, and I hope you guys enjoy.